If you're stopping through, DJ Thomas, Zach Curry, Entanglement, Shiva, Joe Vlogs, what's up, guys? Yeah, coaching change, yes. In the assistant coach. It was a defensive back coach. We'll get into all that. And equals the assistant to the assistant of the defensive line coach. Yeah, defensive backs coach is what it was, but that is what it is. It's a coaching change. Pat Meyer won't be fired. We know that. Whether that's right or wrong, we really have nothing in that. That no say in that matter. We can sit here and speculate what is right, what is wrong. We all know what is right in that situation, in my opinion. I know some people are still fans of Pat Meyer. I am not, though. You have all these trade rumors already emerging. The offseason has really, truly, officially begun. So, yeah, you're going to have all these. Is Deebo Samuel's going to be traded to the Steelers? It'll be crazy, guys, and I'm here to help decipher the truth. The real truth about it all. And definitely, we're not going to fall for all the clickbait here, so we will not get too crazy. But would Deebo Samuels be a realistic player to be able to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers? The answer to that question is actually yes. He's due what, roughly around $31 million, something like that. I believe that the 49ers would have to eat like a $31 million dead cap hit if they traded him. But you look at that trade and you say to yourself, the Steelers would only have to invest about 17 point something million dollars. So the answer to that question would probably be yes, that could be a realistic move. Deebo Samuel's coming off a down year in San Francisco, but you look at his overall body of work, it's a good one. However, when you look at him, you say to yourself, why was it a down year in San Francisco? I'm going to venture to say some of that was due to the run game not being as good. And that trickles down throughout the whole offense. When you're not able to have any type of real balance on a consistent basis, that does trickle throughout. So, that's maybe some of the reason why. Maybe the lack of having his running mate, Brandon Ayuk, there. Maybe contributed to that. You saw that in Pittsburgh with the lack of a real true number two big-time guy. You weren't able to see George Pickens' numbers be very big. So, all those factors could come into play. I'm not giving a specific reason on why, but I'm just saying those things could all come into play during this speculation period of who to trade for, who not to trade for, why they had a down year or why they had a good year. This is everybody got an opinion season. So, yeah, we're just going to try to sift through it. And I'm no NFL insider like a lot of people try to claim. It's so funny to watch some of these shows and podcasts and how they just try to drop I got this source, I got that source. Who cares, man? Just say the truth. It's not impressive. It just makes me crazy. It's just talk about the team, have fun. Nobody cares who you know or who you don't know. It is what it is, man. And to be real about it, the only things that ever really truly come out are the things that the team wants you to fucking hear. That's the truth, man. These teams are buttoned up pretty good in terms of what's coming in and out of that building. And some of the news that does come out of that building, everybody's going to hear it anyway. It is what it is. It's not just some earth-shattering shit, man. We're going to talk about the Billboard, man, from downtown. Danny George, what's up? Sleeping Lady, what's up? No, it's just, I just find it so funny, man. I watch a lot of Steelers news cycles. I look at everything. I try to anyway, as much as I possibly can. I don't sit there and consume it all day long, but damn. A lot of people just like to do that for some reason. I don't know why. It's just crazy to me. But anyway, off of that, make sure everybody's hitting that like button, sending us out into the algorithm. Also, make sure you're sharing the show. It's absolutely free to do those things. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I took a lot of heat last night for saying Jalen Hurtz wasn't elite. I don't know. My definition of elite is far different than today's generation, and I'm going to say that with it's true. Their definition of elite is a lot different at the quarterback position. this generation of fan right now that's a younger style fan, probably in their 20s, are used to seeing a high school style offense, you know? When I talk about elite quarterbacks, I'm talking about quarterbacks that can pick your ass apart from the pocket, that can intellectually beat the living shit out of you. Guys that can just throw the ball all over the yard, utilize every single weapon. They're not running backs at the quarterback position. They can do the things that quarterbacks are supposed to do. And I get it, the game has evolved a little bit, but I think it's evolved backwards. I think it's become more primitive in its approach to schematics and the way these quarterbacks attack. And I'm just going to say this. I think today's definition of elite is far different. My definition of elite is a guy that's going to go back there and he's going to throw for 350, 300. He's going to go back there, throw for 2 or 3 touchdown passes. He's going to go back there and be able to identify defenses at a high level. That's what I'm looking for in an elite guy. And is Jalen Hurtz a bad quarterback? Absolutely not. I sung his praises. I don't know how much more I can kiss the guy's ass. But he's not elite. And that was my point yesterday. And whether that rubs people the wrong way or not, it's my opinion. I'm just speaking what I feel is the truth. And that's all I can do. Jalen Hurtz is a good quarterback. Elite, he's not. An elite runner, he is. Yes, definitely. For sure. Highly athletic. Elite athletic guy. His athleticism is elite. Is his football IQ as a quarterback elite? Probably not. No. Is his pocket passing as a quarterback elite? No, it's not. But can he win games in the right system? Abso-fucking-lutely he can. And that's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. And again, I know everything I say isn't going to go over well with everybody. But again, these are my opinions. I have people that literally get so pissed if I don't agree with them on everything. They unsubscribe, they subscribe, they unsubscribe. It's fucking crazy. It's like, dude, I'm not going to agree with everybody. That's not what we're here to do. You're not going to agree with me all the time. I'm not going to agree with you all the time. Who cares? But that's what we're here to do, is talk about it. And that's why I am diligent about reading the comments, trying to really get you guys to have a voice. Definitely so. And again, what we were talking about yesterday with Jalen Hurtz and Justin Fields is absolutely true in my eyes. They're the same type of player. Justin Fields has not got to play with a roster that Jalen Hurtz got to play with this year. You put Jalen Hurtz on the Pittsburgh Steelers team without those schematics and that roster, he does the exact same thing as Justin Fields would have done. It is what it is. But would Justin Fields go and do the same things Jalen Hurtz did? I don't know. I've never got to see him with that. So I can't give you that answer. But I can tell you, though, I've seen Jalen Hurtz play many, many times with good teams. And I've seen him play with, not so good teams. You know, he hasn't always had a great team there in Philadelphia. And it was what it was, I'm just saying, we just got to be realists about what we're looking at. We got to look at things individually, players, and really take it a case-by-case basis and not just be so broad with what we're talking about. Let me get a little sip of Sprite. Oh, no free shout-out. Sprite. Holler at your boy. But anyway, let's keep going. Where were we in the chat? That's where we want to be. Good evening from Danny George. We did that. DJ, I heard somewhere today there was a billboard put up and said Rooney fight. Yes, we were talking about that. I did put that. No, it did happen. A guy, it's actually in the thumbnail of the show tonight. So to go ahead and take a peek, it's at the bottom of the thumbnail. You can see the exact quote of what was put up on that sign. But you know what, guys? It's wasting your fucking money. These people aren't going to listen to anything we have to say, sadly. And I don't agree with it. They should listen to what we have to say. We're the ones that consume their product. We're the ones that talk about their product every day. We are the ones, the reason that they are in the position that they're in. And that is truthful. We are the reason that they are in the position that they are in. We are the reason they are ultra wealthy. Why? Because we consume their product. And they should listen to us a little bit, because honestly, when is enough enough? When are you going to let this buffoon go? When? When? That's the question. That's a real question. I'm very under the weather. Thanks for asking. Oh, I hope you feel better, DJ. Wave those terrible towels. Wave those emojis like Danny got those Steeler emojis in there. Make sure you're waving those up. I'm hoping for a pocket passer. What's the point of having George Pickens when you only target the guy 5 times per game on average? Bring back Mason. I agree, dude. I agree, Sleeping Lady. I don't agree with this running back quarterback room. It does not impress me. I want a guy, though, that can do it all. But I don't know if you have that coming up through the ranks right now. Again, guys, these offenses are dumbed down. RPO stuff all the time. Run first. It's dumbed down in terms of the passing game. I'm all about the run. I love to run the football as a coach. I love to hammer the football. But sometimes you're not able to do that because you don't have the personnel to do that. And I also like balance as a coach. I also like to be able to throw the football down the field at a high level. I like you to be also able to stand in the pocket and deliver the football. I don't want you always out on the run. Guys, it's hard to throw on the run too. Stand back there, plant your foot, and drive the football down the field. I feel like you can get a lot of zip on the ball that way. I feel like you can start to see the field. I feel like it gets you more comfortable in traffic, being a pocket guy. You're not so hesitant and twitchy. We don't want that in a quarterback. We don't want a guy that's so twitchy. I don't want that. I want a guy that's going to be able to stand back there and have a very calming presence to them. And yeah, if they got to run, they run. But they're not panicked back there. They're not having those happy feet and very twitchy. They're back there being able to use their intellect as a quarterback, being able to use the gift of their arm, and really just dissect defenses. And again, guys, I don't think you have that in this league right now. I don't. And it's discouraging to me. I would love to see the offensive systems, the schematics be brought back up to a very high level in terms of the pass game. The run game, I feel like it is what it is. There's only so much you can do in a run game. But I feel like people are creative in doing that. I feel like the run game's fine. Again, but I just want to see that passing game be brought back and not just be so splash play type oriented. That's what I feel like it is. The pass plays you see now are just the big splash plays. I want to see a real tactician at the quarterback position that just dissects you and carves you up down the field every damn drive. That's what I want to see, man. I want to see the balance of the offense. I want to see the real symphony of offensive plays that are being put out there, and watch the offensive coordinator or the quarterback, whoever's calling the plays, be the maestro. That's what I want to see. I don't see it anymore. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. And I could be. It is what it is. But yeah, that billboard that was brought up, I wanted to talk about that before I got on my little soapbox. But yes, somebody put in there, when is enough enough? And these things make it back to the Rooney family. They make it back to the organization. They're on Channel 11, Channel 4 News, the main news outlets of the city of Pittsburgh. They see this shit. But do they care? That's the question. And again, you saw a coaching change with the defensive backs coach. Is that going to make a tremendous amount of difference? Maybe, maybe not. Hey, it is what it is. I'm just happy they're making a couple changes at least, because that's more change than I thought they were going to make. So it is what it is. But still, does it make a difference in terms of anybody in that building really to challenge Mike Tomlin? No. Does it change any type of real system that's in place? No. You're going to get the same shit, the same thing. Just because you're the defensive backs coach, what are you doing in terms of the scheme? You're just teaching what is told to you. You know, you're teaching some technique. Yeah, that's where you can make a difference as a positional coach, teaching technique and making your guys well aware of exactly where they need to be each and every time on every single play, making them aware of the defensive schematics in terms of audibles and being able to check in and out of different coverages and being able to identify different things that the offense is doing. You can do those things, but in terms of the overall picture, the overall schematics, you really have nothing to play into that. You're really not doing anything with that. So, like it really matters, you know. But they did make a coaching change. Nonetheless, they did. Whether it's a big one or not, they're also interviewing some linebacking coaches. I don't know if they brought one in yet or not. You know, guys, I wait for those hires. I really don't get into this like coach interview watch for assistant coaches that are positional coaches. It does not excite me in any big way. I feel like there's a couple big positional coaches that actually can make a difference. I feel like the offensive line coach can make a difference because I think the trenches, everything's won and lost there. I think those guys can make a little bit of a difference, but still they are handcuffed by the schematics also. They're handcuffed by the scheme. They're handcuffed by also having a head coach in Mike Tomlin that you have no real clear direction, in my opinion. He wants to be one thing, but I feel like he doesn't lead the team in that direction, in my opinion. Let me get back to the chat. I don't agree with you on everything. Still love the show. Thank you, Za. Yeah, that's what it's all about, guys. I don't agree with everybody either, man, and that's what I like, man. I want you guys to challenge me. I want you guys to have your own thoughts. I don't want you just to sit here and kiss my ass and agree with me. That's not productive. I like it when we're talking, man, and going back and forth. I don't condone his behavior, but I get it. NFL young boy must be thinking to himself, why am I here? Yeah, it is probably discouraging, sleeping lady. I'll give the guy that. I definitely will. Where did the new coach come from? I don't know exactly where he came from, Danny. I got to look it up. I just seen it. It was in an article about 45, 50 minutes, probably over an hour ago. I've told you guys before, I'm studying for some stuff for work, so I didn't dissect it. I did put his picture and his name and everything up on the thumbnail tonight. If you guys want to do a little bit of research on that, I'm going to talk about it. I have an article I'm going to bring up and talk about that. So we will get into it, but off the top of my head, I can't remember, but we'll dive into it when we dive into the article here. I hope you make a t-shirt with "It Is What It Is." Yeah. I might. That sounds good. Yeah, with Mike Tomlin's face on it. It is what it is. Yeah, that's a good one. Steelers boy, OMG, I love the Steelers. Good evening, everyone, from Roberta Campbell. What's up, Roberta? I'm used to your icon being blue, Roberta, when I see it. You changed your thing. I forgot. Danny George, hi, Roberta. DJ Thomas, if the Steelers were to get Deebo, would they use him as a running back too, like the 49ers did, or a wide receiver too only? Would he be willing to? You know this, DJ, whenever they were bringing up his contract, he wanted paid like Lev Bell did. I want to be a running back and a wide receiver. I want paid like a combination of, and he got paid a bag, man. What my thoughts are on this. When you bring players into the fold, you're looking at that character, you're looking at that fight, you're looking at guys that want to be part of the team and be team players. And when I'm thinking about doing these trades and things of that nature, I got to ask myself, is that guy, no matter what the situation, willing to live and die by the simple thought of, I got to do anything and everything to help my team succeed? If that's the main focus of a player, I'm going to be more inclined to bring him in. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. But if the answer to that question is no, that they're more worried about their own stats, their self, and their well-being above everything else, then the answer to that question for me as to whether to bring him in is no. I don't want to bring them in, and I don't care how talented they are, because I feel like once you start putting those building blocks inside of the locker room, it starts to add great distension. It starts to add issues. It starts to add a media circus into the building, and I don't think that that's something that I'm looking for. The coach we got was the assistant DB's coach for the Steelers before 1 year with the Raiders, Gerald Alexander. Yep, he's the DB coach. Yes. Sleeping Lady, the Saints are hiring Eagles OC. Thank you for saying his name, Robert, because it was slipping my mind. I have it on the thumbnail. Again, guys, these hires aren't earth-shattering. They're not. But they are coaching changes nonetheless. Sadly, you're not going to see much more. Let's keep going. The Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator to be their head coach. Do you see them going after anyone there to help coach our defense? The answer to that is, Sleeping Lady, there's always a possibility, but to be real, that'd be kind of like just swapping assistants because you're not getting rid of Terrell Austin. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it could happen. There could be something like that happen. Their offensive coordinator going to the Saints is a major blow for them because I felt like he really was able to bring to light Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurtz and that amazing wide receiver duo. But let's face the facts. When he goes down to New Orleans, is he going to have that same weaponry? Are you going to have two of the league's best wide receivers? Are you going to have the league's best running back? Are you going to have a very good quarterback in place to get this thing going? Are you going to have a number one defense? Those variables all come into play. And like you look at the Bears when they hired Ben Johnson. Now he's going to the Bears. Is he going to have those things? Is he going to have all those tools? The answer is typically no when you go to a new place. So definitely, you're not going to see those same results. And that's why I feel like these franchises grow weary really quick with these coaches, and they fire them so fast. And that is a little bit overkill, in my opinion. I feel like the Steelers do overkill in the amount of loyalty they have. And then I feel like other teams do an overkill by firing these guys way too quickly because, again, you're not going to have the same tools. And it's not just about offensive tools. It's about the team tools. Because let's face it, guys, you have a defense that can't get off the field. Your offense's opportunities are limited. There's a variable at play. You have bad special teams that limit some of the point totals that you get to make your offense look a little bit better. You have an injury here or there. That limits you. You don't have, you only have one great wide receiver on your team instead of two really, really good ones. That limits you. Your running back is just okay. He can get it done. But you're more running back by committee. You don't have that Saquon Barkley talent that everybody has to respect from opposing defenses to cause major disruption in their game planning each week. That's going to be a variable at play. There are so many things here, guys, that you just can't scratch the surface with these guys moving to be head coaches. They need time, too, to build a roster. They need time to put systems into place. That's the only way you ever get good. And let's face it, you got to get lucky and get a good quarterback. You got to get a guy that you don't need an elite talent there. You need a guy that's good, though. You can't win with poor quarterback play or just average quarterback play. They got to be above average. They got to be good, and they have to have good, calming head on their shoulders, somebody that can be a real leader. So those things, it's just a lot, man. A lot goes into making a football team, and it's not just so cut and dry. Evan likes the Phillies. I'm going to the Eagles parade. Well, congratulations, Evan. I hope you enjoy yourself there. Roberta Campbell, is it only me, but I keep seeing things on YouTube saying different things. The Steelers signed Rodgers, Tomlin was fired, etc. As far as I've seen or read, none of these things are true. Roberta, you're clicking on clickbait. You got to be very selective. If the title of the video sounds too good to be true and you're only seeing one or two of those videos, they're not going to be true. They're not even worth clicking on. If any type of major earth-shattering moves were made by the franchise, such as firing Mike Tomlin, such as signing a guy like Aaron Rodgers, that news would be everywhere. You would hear it on Twitter. You would hear it on Facebook. You would hear it on YouTube. You would hear it everywhere. these people that are just getting your clicks, they're making money off of you guys, and you're clicking and you're pissed off when you get in there because it's not what they were supposed to be talking about, you know? Yes, my title tonight, the Steelers did make a coaching change. I didn't lie about that. But I do see some of the titles you're talking about. Steelers to sign Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. And then in the description, they'll say, is this a good move or a bad move? Because they know none of you guys read the descriptions typically. That's just the way it is. You're looking at the title. You're looking at the thumbnail. That's what you're looking at. I do the same thing. It's not just you. It's everybody. And that's what they know. And that's why they make the things that they make. I try to be not misleading in any way, but definitely that's what you're getting. A lot of misleading stuff. Steelers Reels, people talking about Deebo. Where the hell are you there, Steelers Reels? Sorry. People are talking about Deebo. I don't want him. He has an ego, and he's not a good route runner and has a couple big plays every once in a while. Steelers Reels, I don't disagree with you on a lot of that because I think, again, if you're the Steelers, you got to ask yourself the question, what are you looking for in a number 2 wide receiver? In my opinion, I believe they got to have a guy that can come in and be a precision route runner, a possession chain moving receiver. That's what they lack. They have a number 3 in Calvin Austin. That's a guy that comes out there, can hit a home run, can get you a big play, can draw some attention deep, can draw some attention underneath in space. He's a number 3, 4 type guy. They have that. They have the big, tall guy in George Pickens that can go up and catch those combat catches and make an exciting play and be a real, splash play type guy as a number 1, a guy that's going to draw the attention because teams don't want to let him beat them, if they're going to stick him one-on-one. What you need is that number 2, that chain mover, that possession type receiver. And yeah, people will say you could add and keep the tight end as that guy and make Pat Freiermuth that guy. You still got to have a number 2 wide receiver on top of the tight end. The tight end can fill that role. That's their role, naturally, yes. But you still need that number 2 wide receiver that's going to garner attention, that's going to be able to be open with his precision route running, a guy that's all about the team, a guy that's going to go out there and take big hits across the middle, a guy that's going to go out there and kill himself for the group. That's what you're looking for in a number 2. My opinion. You know what the best prototypical number 2 wide receiver I have ever seen, and I'm not just saying this because he was on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was Hines Ward. He was the absolute best number 2 wide receiver. Should have been all his career. If you'd have had a big body, tall, lengthy, highly athletic guy as the number 1, Hines Ward is the prototypical image of what you want as a number 2 wide receiver. A guy that's going to go out there and block, a guy that's going to go out there and do everything he can, a guy that is going to move the chains, sure-handed, a guy that is an excellent route runner, that relies a lot in his head on film study and attacking each week. A guy like him, there's no better. There's no better than what Hines Ward was. If you're looking for a true number 2, that's what you should be looking for. Yes, Roberto, there is nobody that can say that. Yes, unless it's a place you trust to know that they're going to give you good news. But, I'm not for limiting media in any way. People can post what they want. Viewers have to be able to sift through those things and look at who produces it too. Look at what channel's putting it out. If it's some Wong Tu Free from Vietnam or something, that it's all clickbait. They're just going to make flashy titles and have some dumb video on there. And typically it's going to end with somebody doing arts and crafts at the end of it. Typically the picture's going to be twisted. Why? Because it's just copied. That's not original content. Those types of things. You just got to really watch them, man. Downtown John Broadway, at some point, public/Pittsburgh fans will create pressure to not be ignored. They could, hey, keep it up. I just feel like they're not going to ever care. I wish it were different. I do. But sadly, I feel like it takes a lot for them to make a move because they hear the noise from the fans. Yeah, it's difficult. That's a difficult thing, man. What's up, Mark Collins? Robert Rowe. Deebo is hurt a lot and gets paid a ton of money. 670 yards receiving for 3 TDs, 136 yards rushing for 1 touchdown. Avoid him. Those were Deebo's 2024 stats. Yeah, a very pedestrian year by Deebo, a very down year by Deebo. And again, like Robert said, injuries, that can play into it, guys. Running game as a whole, offensive line, schematics, who's throwing you the foot. There's so much that goes into it. How good was the defense? There's a lot that goes into how these players perform. George Pickens, he only had 3 touchdowns also. So you're bringing in a guy, like Robert said, 670, 3 touchdowns there. So you're bringing in a guy basically that had the same amount of touchdowns as George Pickens in 2024. That's not really a big addition to me, because George Pickens had very pedestrian numbers too. I agree. Yeah, I'm not team first. I don't want them. Bengals next year from Dakota. Bengals got, I think, a little bit of a misguided philosophy, man. They're putting too much attention into just a few players, and I think it's just going to bite them in the ass, especially if they're able to sign T. Higgins back. You're just going to have far too much money in one room. You already are paying big bucks to Joe B. It's just, I don't care what kind of restructure he does. You're just asking for trouble, man. You're just going to limit yourself in a big way. I feel like you can fill out the roster, but, typically it's having one of those wide receivers on a rookie deal, one of them on a big deal. That one that's on the big deal works his way and does really well while that other guy is on his rookie deal. And now when that other guy gets, to being out of his rookie deal, if he's the next guy in line, you make him the big paid guy. You trade off the other one, and then you go out there and you look for another rookie. That's kind of the way you have to do it in terms of wide receiver room. You can't pay 2 guys in that room, $30+ million a year. It just does not make sense. I don't really want Deebo either. Malachi Smith, I think grabbing Sam Darnold would be a decent option if it's affordable. Yeah, but I saw what he did against good competition. I saw what he did in the playoffs. I saw what he did, in the final game of the season there. I mean, it would be what it is if it's a means to an end, Malachi. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. If it's an affordable, reasonable deal, which I don't think it will be, I'd be all for it if it's a means to an end. I'm okay with that for 2025. If Devin Burkett says if we re-sign Fields, he should be able to ball out if we get him some weapons. Looking forward to the Pittsburgh Steelers getting a 7th Lombardi trophy next season. I would love it. Again, if Fields isn't the long-term answer, that's okay. Again, I don't think you need to sign him to a monster deal for a lot of years. I think you could get away with giving him a 1 or 2-year deal. I think you could get away with that probably. I feel like he would be comfortable with that. And again, I hope Robert was right from yesterday, saying that the market value is $7-8 million. If they could get Justin Fields for $10 million over 2 years per season, I'd fully guarantee that shit and just say, cool, and still be working on my plan to figure out how to bring in somebody in 2026. But hey, and if Justin worked out, so be it. Pay him after those 2 years. If it is what it is. But here's the thing. In the meantime, you got a shitload of draft capital, shitload of cap space, rather, to really put a fucking monster team around Justin. And that's something I'd like to see. I want to see if he can succeed that way. All right, guys, I need you to hit the shit out of that like button as we are about 35 minutes into the show here on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason, as always. If you're not subscribed to Mic Drop Sports, I don't know what the hell you are waiting for. Join the conversation, subscribe to the channel. Hitting the like button is absolutely free. Hitting that share button is absolutely free. Go ahead and just share the shit out of it, like the shit out of it, and really just... it helps support your creators that you try to interact with each and every day, and it gives them the fuel to keep going, man. Those likes are awesome. Yesterday we had a lot of super chats. As always, the super chats are open. The super gifts are open. So make sure if you guys want to do that, you're welcome to it. Also, there's links in our channel bio on ways to support the channel. You can support the channel that way because YouTube takes a large cut of super chats and things of that nature. So if you ever want to donate to the show, I have my Venmo and things like that in there. So there are other ways to donate to the show without the interference of YouTube. I already do you guys a solid and don't put monetization on here in terms of ads. I leave it ad-free for our live shows. I think that that's just the best thing to do for you guys because that way you don't have to sit here and get an ad every once in a while and miss parts of the show. So I do that. So hitting that like button is the best way, man. Just smash the shit out of that. That's really the best way to support us. But again, guys, make sure you're over there on Facebook with us. Mic Drop Sports over there. We're trying to grow that platform because once we hit a certain subscriber count here, we're going to multi-stream to different platforms. So we're going to try to build a presence on every platform. I do have a TikTok that I mess with a little bit. I'm going to try to figure that out a little bit more. We do have a X account. You can go over and like us there at Mic Drop Sports and follow us there. So there are other ways. And again, we're going to be able to hopefully one day here soon in the near future be able to stream everywhere on all different platforms. I honestly think until Art steps aside and Tomlin leaves, the Steelers are just going to be average. It could be Roberta. Mark Collins, I think the Steelers should sign Pierce and Mayo, linebackers, defensive coordinators. Yeah, man, there's a lot of options, honestly. You know, and I can't disagree with any of you guys really on your thoughts of who to bring in, who not to bring in. You guys have a lot of good ideas. And again, there are so many different avenues to travel here. And it's a really broad picture right now, you know. Would those people be bad? No. Any type of upgrade, I'm down for, man. I just really want to see how this offseason really starts to flow here. I think right now the Steelers need to turn their attention to Justin Fields, and I think they already have. I think getting him secured and figuring out what type of financial responsibility you're going to have to be nailed down to him for the next year or two is the first piece of the puzzle that has to be put in place because then you can kind of start to figure out what fat you got to start trimming. Guys like Larry Ogunjobi, how do you save cap space? Where do you go and get draft capital for 2026 if you're trying to prepare for that draft where there's going to be a tremendous amount more quarterbacks to be able to go out there and get? So, yeah, nailing Justin Fields down has to be your priority because that gives you opportunity. And again, if you can get him for $10 million a year or under, wow, great deal. Sign it, get it done. That gives you the ability to really go out there, stay comfortable, stay somewhat competitive as much as you can be under Mike Tomlin, and really go out there and try to find a franchise guy if Justin isn't the answer. I think it's just the only thing that makes sense. We can talk about these trades for Matt Stafford, all this shit, but really, what does that get you? Nailed down to an old guy for a bunch of bucks. Oh, bring Aaron Rodgers in. Nailed down to an old guy for a bunch of bucks. It was all right to be nailed down to Russell Wilson this year, an older guy. Why? Because we weren't paying him any fucking thing. That's okay. But when you got to foot the bill, when you got to pay the $40 million per season for these old guys, it ain't worth it. It just isn't worth it because the Steelers don't have a team right now that one of those old guys can step into and win a Lombardi trophy. We have to be honest about it. Do I think the Steelers have a bad roster? No. Do I think they have a Super Bowl roster? No. And again, if you're going to bring one of these old heads in here and pay them a bunch of fucking money, you better have a roster in place that can win now. That's the only way you can do it. When the Bucs brought in old man Tom Brady, they needed a quarterback and they were ready to win. They did it. They did it. They spent the money. They had the roster. They needed the quarterback. They got him. They went out and they won a Lombardi trophy. They added more and more weapons when Tom even came. They did what they had to do. But they had a Super Bowl roster. Field throwing game is sus. He needs work. Yeah, he needs work, but he fits the prototypical right now quarterback in the NFL, you know? A guy that can run, a guy that's timid and prancing around and happy feet and in the pocket. And, that's the kind of guy that these quarterbacks are now, it just is what it is. Run first type guys is what they are. And he fits that mold. Should the Steelers show any interest in guys like Sam Darnold or Kirk O'Chains? I don't know if Kirk O'Chains will ball out without hitting Magic City 3 times a week. Here's the thing about guys like Kirk Cousins. You're paying him a boatload of fucking money. A guy like Sam Darnold, I think you're not getting him for any less than 20, 25 million per. Do you want to do that when you could probably get the same amount of wins in the win column going out and paying a guy like Justin Fields way less? That's the question. I don't think you should go after Sam Darnold, in my opinion. If it happened, it happened. It is what it is. Would I be disgusted about it? No. But again, will he have the same type of roster that he played with in Minnesota going into Pittsburgh? The answer is no. That's going to be something to look at, Kirk Cousins, are we a quarterback away from winning? Can he just step right in with an elite roster? The answer is no. They don't have the wide receiving core for a guy like Kirk Cousins. He's a pocket passer, We don't have that type of wide receiving core right now. Where was I at? We did that. Honestly, the Steelers should look at Baltimore as an example. I guess if you want to be a running, that's all you want to do is run the football. I don't know. I don't know. There's just, again, guys, you could look at him, I guess, as an example. I don't think it would be bad. I'm just trying to really think about it here. Think about your comment. Yeah, you could look at him as an example. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think where I'm hung up on the Ravens is Lamar Jackson. He's not going to win you a big game. So it is what it is. Everybody wanted to blame Mark Andrews for the playoff loss. That wasn't Mark Andrews. He made a couple mistakes, but so did your quarterback. A pick, a fucking fumble. The blame is spread out, but again, Lamar Jackson hasn't won a big game. He's never won a big game ever. And it is what it is. So that's where I think that I don't want to do that. I don't want to put $52 million into a quarterback that isn't going to win you a big game. I'd rather try to find that same type of guy, a runner, a guy that's not like the ultimate pocket passer. I can find that in Justin Fields. He's a runner. I don't know. I just don't see the logic in it. Unless I'm going out there and getting some elite pocket passer, somebody that's a real badass at the quarterback position, I don't want to go out there and pay big bucks to a guy. I'd rather just pay cheap and still, probably have the same outcome as what you would have if you went out there and spent the big dollars for somebody that's, currently in this market. I don't know. I just can't make it make sense in my head right now. I've been sitting here during this show trying to think about it all the names that you guys have said, and it's just, I can't make any of them makes sense to me in my head in terms of finances, in terms of what it would take to get them or not. There's so many variables in it, and none of them make sense to me right now. Maryland Melatonin Network. How do you feel if we get A-Rod? I would feel absolutely like it would be team suicide, considering Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is a media circus, a locker room cancer, and just quite frankly far too old to be demanding the money that he demands. Roberta Campbell, I don't click on them. Don't click on them, Roberta. Let's go Steelers from John. Steelers Barstool. We want Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. Steelers Barstool. Are you from Barstool Sports? I keep trying to get a show on Barstool Sports. Dave Portnoy, if you're fucking out there, El Presidente, holler at your boy, Mike Drop Sports at yahoo.com. I'll let you buy my podcast, buy my channel. I'll come over to Barstool and I'll do you a show on the AFC in general, or maybe AFC North. I don't know. Steelers in general. Whatever you want, Prez. Call your boy. I've messaged in the Barstool. I even messaged Dave Portnoy, I think, on Facebook or some shit. Holler at your boy, Prez. I'll even come do fucking pizza reviews with you. Mark Collins, sadly, the Steelers team will not go any further than wild card without fixing this offensive line. We need to get our Stanley, left tackle, right tackle C. Robinson. I hear you, Mark, but I feel like you're jumping on this offensive line a little prematurely. It's full of a bunch of young talent. One of those young talents was hurt, didn't get to play. Another one of those young talents was in year 2, playing out of position. Now, does switching to left tackle automatically fix Broderick Jones? No. Then you had a rookie at center that played absolutely phenomenal. You had a rookie at right guard that played due to injury, and I felt like he really did okay. I felt like, honestly, you just didn't have a real cohesive group. You had a veteran in Isaac Seumalo, but, these guys are young, and there's a lot of top talent in that room. I think what you need to do for the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers is add depth there. Yes, that's always key, but I really think that there is a core group in place right now that are going to be really, really good, Mark. I really, really, truly believe that. I think flipping this whole offensive line room would be a grave mistake. I really do. I think they've invested high value picks, and really spent time on that room. And I think you're going to see the dividends start to be paid, before too terribly long with that group. So, I'm not jumping off the edge here yet on that offensive line. I don't think throwing it away is the answer. John, keep Fields and build around him. Give him a real team to play with. I heard on the radio, Westwood won, that Russell Wilson was still wanted by the Steelers. DK Sports says it's not happening. I'm trusting DK Sports reporting. Sleeping Lady, if you remember, I don't know if you caught these shows, but as soon as the season concluded, I told you guys this. And I'm just giving you my opinion. This is from no insider knowledge. This is not from knowing anybody. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know all these people and all this shit. I'm not. But I told you, in my opinion, that I did not believe that the Steelers would entertain bringing Russell Wilson back. I heard too many things about it. In terms of what was going on, locker room, with the coaching staff. I just heard there was a lot of things that, just don't need to happen. And I'm not saying Russ was a bad guy, because I don't think that was the case. But I think Russ had some deficiencies that started to shine through once he was playing some better teams. I think Russ had some deficiencies inside of the schematics of that offense also, because he wasn't able to utilize the middle of the field in a very tight and heavy offense by Arthur Smith. You need to use the middle of the field. You need to use the tight ends in a big way. And if you take away a whole section of the field where you're not running those drag routes, those underneath routes to the slot receiver, you're not running those middle quick ups by the tight end, you're not running those drags by the tight end, you're not utilizing those players that are heavily involved in that system, you're not going to have a lot of success. Just throwing the moon ball here and there as all these people like to say, isn't enough. It's not enough to get the job done. And again, that's what I thought. And I really, truly believed that they weren't going to be willing to entertain a $30 to $40 million a year contract for Russell Wilson at his age, when you have Justin Fields staring you in the face, who went 4-2, that the team loved, the locker room loved, and everybody could see getting better and better and better each week. I just don't see the reason why they would have did it then, and I don't see why they would do it now. And if DK reported it, it's probably pretty accurate. But I'm going to agree, and I mentioned it as soon as the season ended. I do not foresee them bringing back Russell Wilson. Now, do I know for sure what they're going to do? Absolutely not. But Russell Wilson coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers is not going to happen, in my opinion. And I don't think Najee Harris will be back as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And I think George Pickens is teetering on the edge of being traded. I think those are the realities in which some of the big names from the Pittsburgh Steelers of 2024 are right now this offseason. I think another name might be a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick that could possibly be dangled out there in terms of a trade. I really do think these things are going to happen. I feel like Larry Ogunjobi's not going to be on this football team next year. I feel like there's going to be some changes in the roster in a big way. And maybe some of them surprise some. Maybe some don't surprise you at all. But I definitely, again, no Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson will not be back as a Pittsburgh Steeler in 2025 unless all other options fail and there is nobody else out there to sign except for Russ that makes any sense. That'd be the only way it happens if the Steelers are absolutely back against the wall. Nobody else to bring in. They weren't able to get Justin signed. They weren't able to make a deal anywhere else, and they just have to bring him back. That might be the only way he does. But again, I look to see Russell Wilson in Las Vegas with Pete Carroll. I know some have squashed that already, but I don't know. Something's telling me that may be where he goes. I still have that feeling. If not, he'll be somewhere else. It won't be in the black and gold. And again, if DK reported it, it's probably pretty accurate. Roberta says, the only Steelers sites I actually watch on YouTube is yours, Jason, and Steelers Nation Australia. That's your only two I actually read and respond. Thank you, Roberta. Well, we appreciate it. I know Mark probably appreciated it too. I haven't talked to Mark in a while. Maybe we'll get Mark on over here. Maybe I'll see if he wants to come talk football with you guys. Mark's always an option. He's a nice guy. So maybe we'll see. When he was in Pittsburgh, I wanted to go film with him, but I never got the chance. I'm so fucking busy constantly. I wish I'd have had more time because I would have definitely did it. But anyway, it is what it is. Maybe Mark will come over and hang out virtually. We need two running backs that can hit a home run like Junkins and Henderson. Yeah, you do, Mark. You need a home run hitter, but I think you got one. I think you got Jaylen Warren. He fits into this scheme. He really didn't get a ton of reps all the time, guys. I mean, there's times he's on the bench for Cordell Patterson in third down situations. You know, it didn't make sense with some of that. But yeah, I think you have that. I think you need to add another one, and I think you need to add a guy that's a real zone run type guy. That can put his foot in the ground and cut and explode, a more patient runner. Yeah, we'll see. He was the best pound-for-pound receiver in Steelers history. Roberta Campbell question, they put Sterling in the Hall of Fame this year. Don't believe Hines definitely deserves it, don't you think? I do think Hines Ward deserves to be a Hall of Famer, and I say it why? Because the man changed rules of the game. And I think guys that change rules, that their play causes rules to be changed. Man, and what a career that man had. And I think looking into a man's character and the way he plays for that team and the way he's loved by the fan base, I think all those things have to come into play. And Sterling Sharp getting in, I think is deserved. And I'm not just saying that because, Sterling is Shannon Sharp's brother. I know a lot of people probably don't remember Sterling Sharp, especially the younger guys and gals. But Sterling Sharp before his neck injury, was one of the most dominant wide receivers in the league. A guy that was on track for a Hall of Fame career. Sterling Sharp was probably one of the better wide receivers that I had seen play the game, especially at that time and that era. And definitely, I feel like it was derailed due to injury. Yeah, I don't disagree with him being inducted into the Hall of Fame at all, but I think Hines deserves it too. John says Steelers a couple playmakers away. I think they are several playmakers away. And I think that they have some holes they got to fill on defense. And quarterback has to be a big one. You have to have a guy like Justin, in my opinion. I think that can be reliable, a guy that got athleticism. Yeah, I think they're about 5 or 6 good signings away from being a competitive football team. Greg Harvey, do you think they need to get rid of Tomlin? Absolutely. I think Mike Tomlin is a bozo. I think he's an idiot. Devin Burkett, Hines Ward was the type of player you want on your roster. His skills were number one wide receiver, but he wants you to call, he's what you call a true football player. And he did it all within his abilities. Yeah, man, he was a stud, man. Absolute stud. I love the way he was. He was, though, that prototypical. If you're going to look for a guy as a number 2, that's what you got to be looking at. That Hines Ward type guy that'll go out there and rip your face off. But anyway, guys, I need you to double tap that screen, hit that like button for us here on Steel City Live, only on Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, as always. I need 2 more of you to double tap. Let's get up to 30. We're always chasing 100 likes here on the live stream. So let's get that thing hopping off. It's absolutely free to hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a damn thing. I know some people dangle it over your head. I've had people say, well, if you answer my question, I will hit the like button. Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard out here in this world getting likes. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. We'll go for a little bit longer here. Devin Burkett, we did that. Bent Levar. What coaching change? DB coach. Mike, my team won the Super Bowl, the Uber Bowl. Well, good for you, Mike. I'm happy for you. Mark Collins. K. Kirk, Jacksonville is a receiver. He's young. Yeah, I like Christian Kirk, man. They would have probably had Christian Kirk on this roster if he wouldn't have broke his collarbone. Definitely, I think it would have been an exciting addition, definitely. Bring in a good vet like Cup, Draft, and Bouquet. Get a defensive tackle and Dart as a future quarterback. I mean, all that sounds good, but you don't need a defensive tackle. You need a fucking nose tackle, man. Well, I guess you're just in general. You need a real nose, man. That's what you need. I think the Steelers really got to be specific in that. They need a fucking dog nose tackle. And I wouldn't be opposed as to adding another just stud defensive tackle to really split reps with Cam Hayward, allow Keanu Benton to continue to grow, and really just have a guy, at quarterback if you can in the middle rounds. I'm fine with that too. Wide receiver, I think, is an absolute must, depending on what you can do in free agency. Yeah. ESPN mock draft is showing Steelers get Jackson Dart first round. That's crazy work. Yeah, that's absolutely stupid. It didn't show you the credibility of fucking ESPN. Just to let you know, the Steelers aren't drafting Jackson Dart in the first fucking round, guys. Just to let you know, he's not a first round talent. Sorry, he's a third round, a second round at best. He's not a first round talent. What's up, Nick? Steelers? Yeah, Dart's a third rounder to me too. John. Mark Collins. Christian Kirk is no number 1 or number 2, but I think he and Pickens would be a good pair of receivers. I think Kirk could be a number 2. I do. I think he's very good, though. Mason, DK Metcalf, where do you think he's going? That's hard to say, Again, guys, you got to get a quarterback signed here in Pittsburgh before they let dominoes start to fall, because you really just can't attack this free agency period until you get a quarterback that you're comfortable with, because you got to know what kind of money you're going to be able to spend. You don't want to get yourself into a bad situation to where you've overspent in the other positions to where now all of a sudden you find yourself in a place to where you can't sign the quarterback you want. You got to lock down the quarterback you want early this offseason. And then go from there. And then you can know what kind of roster you need to build around him. What kind of players should you be going out there and trying to find at the skill position spots? What kind of system are you going to have to run with that quarterback? Because let's face it, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, two entirely different skill sets, two entirely different players. Yeah, that's why it was so hard. Yeah, I don't want old people sleeping, lady. Like, I don't want these Deebos and Cups and all these guys. I want guys that are young and exciting, man. That's what I'm looking for. All right, guys, we've went about an hour, so we're going to start wrapping it up. Thank you guys for joining us here on the show. We'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday with more Steelers NFL talk. We are going to be diving in. Hopefully things will start popping off here this offseason. Some good talking points. I'm going to come up with a couple things tomorrow that I really want to dissect. I have a few ideas that have been lingering around in my head that I wanted to get out there to you guys and start asking some of the questions. So we're going to dive into some more things tomorrow. And again, like, share, subscribe. If you didn't watch it while I was live, watch it when it uploads. So if you're just catching us here at the tail end, it should be uploaded here real soon. So we'll be back tomorrow. If I didn't get to your chat question, I apologize. I just go down the list and try to get as far as I can. So if you want your chat question and comment, questions and concern, talk about, make sure you get in here early and hit that like button early, because, again, I just go straight down the chat, and wherever I get to, wherever I end up, that's where I end up. That's how I have to kind of approach it right now. One day here, though, in the next few months, we probably will really try to go through and highlight Mic Drop Mafia members and do those questions first. But that is going to come whenever I'm able to get a producer and things of that nature, which I'm trying to do now. So we'll see how that all unfolds. I don't really want a producer to come on and do the show with me. They could come on here and there. I kind of want a producer that's going to come on during the show for production, put up comments, things of that nature. So if anybody knows any companies or someone that does that, you can steer them my way at micdropsports@yahoo.com. But I am trying to do that now, and I'm going to try to find somebody that wants to be the producer here for Steel City Live and Mic Drop Sports and all of our content. So we'll see how that all unfolds, man. But bigger and better things are on the horizon. So until tomorrow, I'm Jason. This is Mic Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. Peace, my friends. See you tomorrow.